Raymond. You're watching RPadTV, and today Paul Marcus and I will be talking about our most anticipated movies of 2026. There is a lot of excellent content for fans of sci-fi, fantasy, and nerds in general. But before we get into our movie picks, let's see how everyone's doing. Marcus, it is great to see you, sir. How are things?
You know, glad to see the back of 2025.
Yes.
2026 is hopefully going to be a better year. So very excited by the amount of movies and TV that is coming our way as I lay on my back, lay on my couch recovering with my bad back. But apart from that, yeah, everything's cushy, you know. Sorted diamond, lovely.
Is it like Sophie B. Hawkins, As I Lay Me Down, which is what immediately popped into my head?
No, it's more like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Bad Back.
That is more of a banger. that'll get you in the mood. How about you, Paul? What is up in your neck of the woods there?
Well, I'm ready for 2026 to be over. Yeah.
Not off to a great start, are we?
No, not really. No.
But let's move onwards and upwards. And why don't we just dive into your pick, Paul? What do you have as your number 3 most anticipated movie?
So I originally had something else, which we'll get to in a minute. But my number 3 pick is Dune Part 3, which of course is, I think, the third and final movie in the series. I think they said that this is the last one they're going to do. Though, of course, they said that after Part 2, so I don't know. And it's an adaptation, I think, of the second book, but it may have elements of the third because they've been very cagey about what it's going to be. We obviously haven't seen the trailer yet, but it's made by all the same people that did the first 2, the directors, all the actors, everybody else. And I really, really loved the first 2. I'm a big fan of the book, of the whole book series. And I really, really loved just everything about those first 2 movies, like the pacing and the acting and the art direction and everything. And it's just such an epic science fiction story, which I just love. And I'm really excited for Part 3 because I don't remember the book all that well because I read it back in high school, back in the 1400s. And but what I do know is that if they are faithful to the third book, which I believe they will be, there's going to be something in there that is going to not sit well with certain people. It won't sit well with people that don't deserve to have things sit well with them, mind you, but still. So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is to it when it comes out. But I'm excited.
So the way I understood it is that this is the last one that Denis Villeneuve's doing, but not necessarily the last of these Dune movies. And I don't know, it seems like there's so much money on the table that they can't end it with this.
Yeah, I mean, there's Frank Herbert wrote, I think, 6 novels altogether.
Didn't his son write another?
Yes, his son has co-written like I think over a dozen, and then there's also like comics and right. There's a ton there you could mine. I don't think they would ever go into what his kid did. I think they would stop at the very least with right. The ones he did. But the last 2, especially the last book, is very, very long, so they could do that like Twilight thing where they break it into 2 parts. And so, I mean, in theory, they could keep going for a while. Although I don't know, because like
the later books are weird. So
yes, they get weirder and weirder, and like also like they did that TV show, the HBO show, which I didn't think was very good, and I don't think it did very well. I don't know how much interest there would be in this. I especially don't know how much interest there would be if Denny, whatever the guy, however he pronounces his name, if he wasn't doing it, right. Like, and I don't know whether any of the people that are in the movies now, how many what they're under contract for, like Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet, as you're supposed to say. No, thank you, Adam Sandler, and Nikki Glaser.
I'm starting to think of him as Timothy Kardashian now. He's getting sucked into that family, and it scares me. So I don't know, Marcus, are you a fan of these movies and Denis Villeneuve?
I obviously watched the first 2, and I really enjoyed them. I really did. The first one in particular, I think, was very, very exciting and just well played out. It did leave me with sort of like spiced blue balls, waiting for the second one for some sort of denouement, as they say.
No, his name's Villeneuve.
With Monsieur Villeneuve. But yeah, the second one was really good too. And then I kind of like, I'm not a huge fan of the books in that I've not read them. I was born slightly after the printing press was invented, but it certainly wasn't a high point for me. I will watch it. I am more interested in what Denny Boy is doing next, which is obviously the James Bond film.
Right.
I'm interested because I've liked almost all his work, so I'm just really fascinated to see where he's going to take the Bond franchise. But I will be there first weekend for Dune Part 3 because I think excellent cast. It's been an excellent story. Visually, it's been absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if my hope is that it doesn't turn into sort of like the Phantom Menace of Arrakis and the Spice, simply because it's like, oh, political intrigue. No, the second movie had a dude riding the sandworms.
Yeah.
Let's have some more of that.
No, I get it. I mean, I agree with you that like visually and orally with an AU, not an O people, these are two of the most impressive movies I've seen in the last decade. It's just visually stunning. And I can't wait to see what the third one does. I'm not a fan of the whole cast like you guys. Paul and I have had arguments about Zendaya. I think she's a fantastic movie star, but in the second movie in particular, it seemed like half her scenes were making angry looks and walking out of the room. I don't know if that's necessarily on her though, in terms of what she was given to work with. But yeah, I agree with you, Marcus. This is a day one for me, just for the sights and sounds alone. And yes,
well, I don't want to spoil anything, but it may not be a day one for you guys because something else that we're going to talk about later, at least right now, comes out on the same day.
Yeah, it's weekend. It's weekend. The first weekend for me after several viewings of another movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I have a weird feeling it's going to get bumped.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to go. We'll have this conversation, I think, at the end. We should probably have it at the end.
So fair enough. Or Marcus, let's move on to your number 3 pick, which is something I think we're all excited for, but perhaps me the least, for weird reasons. But I will let you guys take the lead.
Kind of just went into the reasons.
Okay. Well, one of the stars of Dune is going to be up here again this summer as MJ in Spider-Man Brand New Day. The last Spider-Man obviously did so much for everybody. It raised a lot of people watched it, a lot of people made a lot of money. It was a really good film on how it tackles stuff, and we got the spider memes out of it. We got Garfield, we got Maguire, and then we got this tantalizing look at he's gone. Nobody knows who he is anymore.
Right.
And now he's got his little homemade suit. He doesn't have any Stark tech, and he's starting from the beginning again, which I think is it's a very gutsy move with regards to the franchise, because it would have been so easy to go, oh, bigger, better. This time we'll have him with 4 villains or whatever, and he'll find this bit of Stark tech that's going to make him 3 inches taller or whatever. But this trilogy, the original trilogy of this, the run, have gotten better and better every time round. Now, I don't think it's the same director this time around. I think he walked away, didn't he, after the original trilogy? But I am very, I've seen some footage. I know, it's no major spoiler to share that both the Punisher and the Hulk are going to be in this, which is really going to be very, very interesting because of not necessarily the Hulk we are expecting. It's obviously not going to be the Red Hulk, because hopefully the Red Hulk is still in jail with whoever wrote that last movie. so yeah, I think it's just going to be really, really exciting. And obviously, this movie is going to heavily lean into another movie that comes out later in the year, and I think it's going to be good to have this sort of like setup, because we had one Marvel movie last year,
Right.
and we've got two this year, which is great. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see where they take Peter Parker, because to have that stripped away from you, to have your aunt is dead, your best friend doesn't know you, the girl you love doesn't know you, your superhero friends don't know you, and to see what he's about to be dropped into down the line, this is going to be a very interesting bridge for as far as I'm concerned.
Right. That's the part that excites me, because in the comics, the Spider-Man stories I enjoyed the most were when the world was shitting on Peter Parker. Like that always made him more interesting than when, he was having the best marriage and success working for Tony Stark. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I want to see like a poor down on his luck schlub that's getting his ass kicked but still making the best of it. To clear things up, the director now is Daniel Destin Creighton, who directed Shang-Chi. He was originally supposed to direct the Kang Dynasty movies, but for obvious reasons, he is not. So he got shifted over to this. Paul, you're a big Spider fan. What are your thoughts on this movie?
Well, originally this was going to be my number 3 pick, but for reasons that'll become apparent later on, like it just seemed a better choice to move it out of that. And then I realized that I remembered that Dune was coming out. And I was like, oh God, okay. Everything you guys have just said, I'm really curious to see what they do with Peter, but I'm also really curious how this leads up to Doomsday. Spider-Man and Punisher have a relationship from the books that's interesting, but I'm curious to see how the Hulk fits into this. Where does Sadie Sink fit into all of this?
Yeah.
Is she playing some other girl who is kind of like the MJ from the comics, but obviously not called MJ? Like, is Gwen Stacy going to fit into this? Like, I don't know. I'm, and there's also, as you guys have kind of alluded to, he became very reliant on the Stark suits. Now he doesn't have any of that stuff. Like, what is he going to do? Like, is there going to be a scene where, like, he thinks like those arms are going to come out and grab something, but they don't because he doesn't have them anymore. So I'm curious to see if they do stuff with that.
Yeah, the Sadie Sink stuff is really interesting, because there's been a lot of buzz that she is also going to be in the X-Men reboot.
Yeah, so the rumors are that she's either playing Jean Grey or Rachel Summers. The latter might make more sense if the rumors are true about Doomsday, which we'll touch on later. But I think she's a fantastic actor. I loved her in The Whale. I didn't know, obviously people know her from Stranger Things, but when I saw her in The Whale, I'm like, whoa, she's a really talented actor, and it was really impressive. But the rumored character that I am fearful of is the character of Paul, who I dislike not because his name is Paul, but he is from the recent Zeb Wells comics, and he is one of the most reviled Spider-Man characters in recent memory. He's basically designed, it seems like his whole existence is to keep Peter and MJ apart.
Yeah, I've read about this
guy. The guy from Ahsoka.
Oh,
isn't that who's playing him?
I don't know.
I thought it was the guy who plays Ezra Bridger on Ahsoka.
Oh, is that confirmed? I didn't know.
Thought that's who. I thought they said he was in it. I thought, at least I thought so.
Yeah, that sort of stuff I can understand, especially with your predilection, Ray, of I like it when people are hammering Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He doesn't get any happiness and stuff. Those sort of characters that are just thrown in just to fuck with something that don't have a major purpose. That's a waste to me. That's a waste of airtime. That's a waste of script. That's a waste of an actor's talent. And it's such a lame plot point that we know that if MJ and Peter are not going to be together, I would rather it be for reasons other than some smarmy bastard comes along.
Right.
I just think it's a lazy plot point. And I will say, I am a little, now you've reminded me of who this guy, the director is. And I really like Shang-Chi, but
except for Shang-Chi himself.
Well, I mean, I felt he was underused.
Right.
The best stuff went to Aquafina and to his sister. And it worries me that the same shit will happen again. I'm so glad they're not doing the Kang Dynasty with this guy. I'm glad that they've gone with the Russos now for the relabeled Doomsday. But yeah, I am really excited because I think that this is, this will be the first time we've actually gotten 4 films with the same spider actor.
Yeah. How about that?
And I mean, it's obviously because out of the last 9 Spider films so far, or 8 Spider films so far, over half of them have been with a British Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's true.
So then just think on that. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. I still have, I mean, the chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland is excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing Mark Ruffalo. The fact that we still haven't had a full Hulk movie disappoints me immensely, even though I understand the legalities behind it. So happy to see John Bernthal back. Can't wait for his Punisher standalone series later on in the year as well. So
is that before Spider-Man or after Spider-Man?
I think it's after Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. And it's just a special, right?
Yes, it's like Werewolf at
right.
Night. It's a one shot. But I love the fact that, and I know we're not talking about TV movies or TV stuff right now, but I love the fact that we're getting the Marvel Knights stuff.
Yeah,
that is really cool. So yeah, don't make me doubt my third choice. And Peter Parker, I trust.
No, it'll be. I'm sure it'll be fun, and hopefully a few surprises along the way. Now, my 3 movies. Yeah, I'm getting into more esoteric fics, so they will require a bit of explaining. Maybe not so much this one, because some people know who Billy Preston is, but my 3rd pick is Billy Preston. That's the Way God Planned It. It is a biopic on the late, great Billy Preston, who some of you might remember from the Get Back series on Disney Plus about the Beatles. He was the Hammond organ player that came in, and basically he helped the Beatles get along for those last few months of existence. He was kind of like their glue guy. One of the few non-Beatles to get credit on a Beatles song, along with Eric Clapton. But this guy, his music and his demeanor, they're just so generally positive and upbeat and happy. But he lived a tortured life. He was brought up a devout Christian, but he was also a closeted homosexual, and he struggled, I'm talking about the 60s and 70s. He struggled in that time to reconcile those parts of his life. Meanwhile, externally, it seemed like this joyous dude making fantastic music. This movie is actually shown at the South by Southwest Festival in 2024, I believe, but it never got a theatrical release until this year. So he's one of my favorite musical artists. I think he's a fantastic personality, and I'm hoping to learn more about, his life and his struggle to make his art. I don't know. Are you any of you guys into Billy Preston?
Yeah. Is it a documentary, or is it like, the Queen and Elton John movies?
No, it's a documentary. It's not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's better. I much prefer to watch documentaries about people than sort of made up stuff. Like
that. If it's a documentary, it's something I will watch. I mean, the biopics, they can be good. I mean, you're talking to somebody who preferred the Rocket Man biopic of Elton John over the Freddie Mercury one. So yes, this is something that I probably wouldn't go to the cinema for, but it's something that towards the end of the year I'll put on TV, and I'll just enjoy it, and I'll enjoy the music, and I'll learn more about this. I was just reading up on him now. Is that this wonderful man who, like you said, had demons and was not ready, or the world was not ready for the sort of person he could be, and he couldn't be himself.
Yeah. And that's such a hard thing that, You know, as much as we complain about times now, at least that's one positive aspect about modern days is that more people are allowed to be themselves. It's still not easy for a lot of them, but it's more accepted now than it was in Billy Preston's time for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see who turns up in that documentary. Like,
there's Ringo and George in there. I mean, he was really tight with George Harrison, who
right.
is my favorite Beatle. When I was a kid, I was a John guy, but as I learned more about, you know, the kind of father and the kind of husband he was, I'm like, whoa, like maybe not the guy that I want to be, but
right.
And then, you know, as a guitar player, I'm a really bad guitar player, but you know, George became my guy. So I'm happy.
I'd be curious to see like if they get like guys like Keith Richards and Eric Clapton who actually think both are on that song. That's the title of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, as well as, I mean, getting Paul McCartney to do it is probably, you know, relatively easy. Same with Ringo, but you know,
you're saying those guys have nothing better to do.
No, not that I say, not that they don't have anything to do, but like, you know, that like if you're gonna do anything with Billy Preston, there's no way Paul McCartney is gonna say no unless like you're really shit, like unless you like we're like, oh hey, we're gonna do a movie about how Billy Preston was a sinner and should go to hell, like you know, you know what I mean, like if you have any credibility.
I will take us on our first tangent, which I think you guys will appreciate. But I recently saw a story, I think it was from the Graham Norton show, where Patrick Stewart was telling this story about he was eating dinner in LA, and then Paul McCartney happened to come in at the same restaurant, and they're friends, they know each other. And then Ringo came in later, and Paul was like, "Hey, do you know Ringo? Do you want to meet him?" And then it became a thing, almost like the Spider-Man meme, where everyone was a knight, and it was like, "Sir." And like that. It's pretty much like the coolest moment in history ever. Yeah. So the Graham Norton show. I will look.
Graham Norton show is excellent. It helps fill the homesick pangs that affect me. That and the UK version of The Traitors, which is absolutely fantastic if you can get hold of it. Way better than the American version.
I like British talk shows in general. Who is the flamboyant guy that has the talk show? He has
Alan Carr.
Yes.
Happy Man.
That guy cracks me up. I hope he's not secretly evil or anything.
No, he's not. Okay. He's obviously an openly gay man.
Right.
But his dad used to be the manager of Northampton Town football team. So, yeah, and has somebody who lived in Northampton for a period of time before moving to the States. I can imagine how difficult it was for him to be
that guy's son.
Yeah, be the character he was, yeah.
And then in my head, he's Jimmy Carr's brother, even though they're probably not related. But just those family dinners would be hilarious. But let's move on to your number 2 pick. Marcus, what do you got?
My number 2 pick surprised me because, I mean, we knew it was untitled Steven Spielberg alien movie, and then they went and dropped the trailer for Disclosure Day a couple of weeks ago, and you know, you see Emily Blunt in this, you see so many, I mean, it's got a delicious cast, I mean, right across the board. They got some really heavy hitters, but this is absolutely the first Steven Spielberg movie that I have been excited by in years. I mean, obviously, Indiana Jones and the Retirement Home of Doom, or whatever the last one was just an absolute farce. I never saw Fabelmans, but that's, I think, is a rainy afternoon watch. But this one, it gave me Close Encounter shivers. This whole concept of the aliens starting to, you know, unveil themselves. It actually did remind me a little of the Doctor Who spin-off Torchwood, because there's a miniseries there called Children of Earth. There was a 5-night miniseries that were basically these aliens were coming to Earth, and they wanted precisely 1/3 of the children because they treated the children like drugs. They consumed their youthful essence, but like a drug. And this gives me that same sort of vibe where it's like, all right, don't know what's going on, and I don't want to watch another trailer for this. I was hooked from the get-go, which for me is a very rare thing, and I think a very good sign, because the American trailer industry is so, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's standard American marketing. It's like, oh, well, so we've got this movie, and nobody knows anything about it. So what we'll do is we'll show the whole fucking movie in the trailers, and then they'll still come and it didn't make any money, bucks, so we should win. Because that's what they do. I mean, there are a number of movies that I've been put off from watching simply because I saw the whole thing in the freaking trailer, and I wait until it comes to video on demand. So this one is, it's aliens, it's Close Encounter-esque, it's a, there was obviously some sort of naughty conspiracies going on, banging cast. I hope this is Spielberg prime. It's been a long time since he's been and delivered something like this. It feels like something that we would have gotten during the 70s, maybe. That sort of intrigue and everything else. So yeah, it's just it tickled my interest, and that for me is a day one drop. I will take the day off or whatever I'm doing. I will go and be one of the first in line. I don't expect it to make a shit ton of, like, it's not going to make Doomsday money, but if I just don't want it spoiled, I want to go in fresh, and I want to just say, yep, I'm in.
I like the way you're comparing it to Close Encounters. Like, alien movies in the 70s and 80s, they always had this sense of wonder and mystery that, I don't know what changed, but somewhere along the line, aliens just became assholes. Like, I miss like Starman. Like, you don't know what this guy's about, and you're not sure what the motivations are. And it's like
we're the assholes.
Maybe. But it's like Bill Murray said in Ghostbusters too. It was like, but now they're just some kind of giant bug that wants to bite your head off. So it's like, before you used to have nice ones, E.T., Starman. So, Paul, any thoughts on Disclosure Day?
Well, one, I feel I actually want to see another trailer because I didn't get a good sense of what this movie was, or at least not to the point of making me decide whether I want to see it or not. The other thing is, and I don't like this about myself, so don't tell anyone I said this. I have a kind of an issue with where this movie is going, because I've become very against conspiracy theories, and while I still appreciate them in fiction, in real life, I find myself, like, anytime anyone brings one up, I'm immediately dismissive of it, and I kind of like, this is tapping into a lot of the conspiracy theories that have been going around lately about, aliens and whatever. So I'm a little put off about the movie because of that, although I don't want to be put off because of the movie. I'm not sure that makes any sense.
Barely.
It does. I mean, it's just, I think, if I may, Paul, it's, again, an example of the times we live in, where this trailer could have come out in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and we'd have been all in awe, and there probably wouldn't have been a second trailer.
Exactly.
Nobody able to dissect it because there was no internet and so on and so forth. And I don't think this is going to be a cheap pandering to conspiracy theories kind of thing. I actually I hope it isn't, and that's why I'm hoping it's Spielberg.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so either. But like, it's just still sort of like, it kind of just, that's where my head's been going. It's like, anytime I watch like a movie now, and there's like, like somebody who's very Trumpy, I'm always like, ugh.
And for you guys watching, if you hear about a conspiracy theory about Paul having a secret pizza place on Wilshire Boulevard, it is not true.
There is a pizza place on Wilshire Boulevard, but
I know. Work across the street from it, man.
No, that one's gone.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, well, they sucked anyway. But there's one down the street that's pretty good. But yeah, don't go there thinking there's like a back room full of Paul clones.
I mean, you look at this cast: Emily Blunt, Colin Firth, Coleman
Coleman
Domingo.
Domingo, yeah.
I mean, that
Wyatt
is,
Russell.
yeah. There was just so much. Nobody has any idea what's going on in this. I mean, and I love that. This
Yeah.
movie is being released. Let's see. When's it come out? Where's the date? June 12th. So this one is just about 6 months away. And unlike a lot of movies that will be coming out around the same time, we have no freaking idea what's going on.
Let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's great not knowing. Yeah. Speaking of not knowing, my number 2 pick is also a movie you probably haven't heard of. It is called Slanted. This is a small independent teenage drama directed and written by Amy Wang. And the story is about a high school girl that wants to be prom queen, an Asian high school girl that wants to be prom queen. So she gets surgery to change her eye folds to appear more Western, and it upends her life, causes a big controversy. But I really want to see how this deals with this situation and the commentary. I mean, if you've ever been to Asia, they really want to, so many of them want to be Western. If you look at all the K-pop idols, so many of them get surgery to make their eyes and their nose appear more Western. And it makes me sad. I mean, there's a whole industry of whitening products that don't actually work, but you see like whitening soap and whitening lotion and things like that. And they make millions of dollars from these, from Asian women that are ashamed of their yellow or brown skin that want to appear white. And I really want to see, I really hope it's a strong and powerful commentary about this. I think I only know one actor in this, McKenna Grace, she was in that Gifted series on Fox. That was
Ghostbusters.
I did not see that. So now I do.
She was in the Ghostbusters, last 2 Ghostbusters series movies, and she was the one who saw like the main focus in the first reboot.
So I believe she is playing the person that is presumed to win prom king and prom queen. So the main character, played by Shirley Chen, is getting surgery to try to prevent that, which seems extreme, but it is sadly common.
So seems like a really interesting premise, and obviously I didn't know much about it at all, but I did pull the Wikipedia up, and because the thing that's got me curious is that this movie premiered at South by Southwest last March, and it's coming out 12 months later. And I know this is happening a lot more, and it apparently got a really good reception at South by Southwest. I'm just wondering why it took so long, especially as so many movies at the end, so like the end of last year, were also, a lot were bumped, and there was a lot more space for something like this.
Yeah, it's also a hard sell for various reasons, but it seems like there are fewer and fewer movies, at least Western movies, featuring minority leads. There are reasons. I don't know if you believe in any of them, but for social reasons.
No, I'm curious because, you're right. There's a definite lack of representation with regards to Asian people, and I'm just going to lump everybody in there because you think about it, Shang-Chi and the Crazy Rich Asians,
right,
are the 2 that would spring to mind for most people. And they were phenomenally successful. And there is stuff. I mean, there was that.
But even in 2023, there were a bunch of smaller films with primarily Asian casts that I loved. You had Shortcomings. You had Road Trip. Or it was almost like an Asian movie of what's the wedding movie with
American Pie?
Bridesmaids. It was almost like an Asian Bridesmaids.
Oh, yeah.
Funny as hell, that movie. Yeah. And, again, you expected to do more. And there are so many great Asian actors and actresses, especially actresses coming through. And it was great to see Michelle Yeoh get an Oscar,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, I was about to say you also had everywhere all at once, which had like a very large Asian cast as well, and that did really well.
Past Lives was also my favorite
Lives,
movie in 2023. Greta Lee, who not
Greta
having
Lee
a,
is just immense, and she was so good on the morning show.
yeah. Oh my God, so sad that they wrote her off. No, but yes, but yeah, I'm super excited for Slanted, and I hope it does well, and I hope small movies in general are just having a hard time getting into theaters if they want the theatrical release. There are reasons they don't want to go direct to streaming, but that's not my call or my choice.
Well, I find it ridiculous that movies like this, and I mean, there was another one that came out before Christmas. There was a British movie called Farkham Hall, which was a comedy, sort of like Downton Abbey meets The Naked Gun. Very old school British farce in a lot of ways. But it was only playing one show a day.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so you've got 5 you're a 12-screen multiplex. 5 of those were taken up with Wicked. 4 were taken up with fucking Avatar. And I mean, we don't need continual showings of a kids movie in Wicked, because that's what it is. Wicked is a kids movie. It is a fucking kids movie. Avatar, how many Dances with Smurfs sequels can you pump out, James Cameron? But yeah, it would be great if cinema chains devoted a little more, just one screen that they can, put a couple of showings of a couple of movies on, different movies per day. It would be so much better. And I think, yeah, it's just a wasted opportunity, because I know it's like, oh, we want to sell our popcorn holders with the, Natiri spread eagle, so you have to get in and do this. So,
Yeah, it's a shame. I really want to see No Other Choice by director Park, who did Old Boy, but it's showing in Las Vegas. It's showing in like 3 theaters, and I would have to drive to the other side of town to get it. I will go there to see this movie, but yeah,
well,
I do wish.
Showing in 3 theaters in your town.
Yeah, I mean Las Vegas is not a big city, but it's not small. I
live right next to the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah,
there are so many Asian people living here, and to not be able to find a lot of these movies is just quite ridiculous. And again, a lot of it now has become this Fathom Events thing, where it's like, oh, it's the 35th anniversary of Back to the Future Part 3, or it's the 55th anniversary of something else. And it's like, yeah, it's great to watch those sort of things for one day. You go in for one day, you pack up the showings, boom. Then give some. I mean, they're saying, "Oh, nobody's coming to the theater," because you're not putting any variety out there.
But if you're watching this, go to your theater if they are showing a small independent film, and go to support it if you can. I mean, I know the theater experience is expensive, but it really does make a big difference.
Not if you get something like, if they offer the monthly pass for like $30. Yeah. That's where that's where you can get like 4 tickets a week on a lot of them, IMAX, 4D, etc. And then it's like, oh yeah, I mean, they're also going to charge a fortune on concessions. So do what I do.
Sneak your food in.
I basically go and get some candy beforehand, and I have my little walker while my back is bad, and I just put a little bit of everything that I need in there and put a jacket over it, because they ain't searching an old man's walker.
Yeah.
Well, they are now.
Yeah, I'm sure the people at the AMC in Pasadena are like, we're getting.
Hey, Nicole Kidman is a big fan of this show, so and all she does is go to the movies by herself all the time. So,
and she's so sparkly when she goes to movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, she did just break up with her Australian doppelganger, so she's lovely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, she's a fantastic actress, but give me Days of Thunder Nicole Kidman. Simply because her nose looked like it wasn't halfway up her forehead.
You know what she looks like? She looks like someone that would be in the Mandalorian and Grogu. That's what she looks like now.
Oh, man.
What an absolutely wonderful segue.
I had a whole joke planned about how I was going to go see this tiny little indie film, and then I was going to pretend like I couldn't read the name off the prompter. And
Some
now you've
foreign
blown it.
shit.
Yeah. Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, let's talk about Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie based, of course, on the TV show The Mandalorian. I have no idea what it's about. I don't particularly care. I love The Mandalorian. I love Grogu. I love Star Wars. They could put the Star Wars Christmas special in theaters, and I probably wouldn't pay to see that because I have it on DVD because I bought it illegally in New York City. But anyway, yeah, so we don't really know what it is. We know it picks up at the end of season 3. We also know that it's going to lead into whatever it is that they call the movie, in which the Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka and I think the Skeleton Crew kids are all going to like get together and do something basically to take down, the remnants of the Empire, which would then, of course, pave the way for the rest of it. But yeah, so I'm very excited. And Sigourney Weaver is in it. I love Sigourney Weaver, especially when that scene of her and Grogu is just hilarious. It seems like it's going to be really, really fun. My only concern is, what are they going to do in this movie that they couldn't do on television? Because that show already looks cinematic. I can't imagine it being like, it's not going to be like in the old days when they would do like a movie based on a TV show and it would be so much bigger and bolder and whatever. So I don't really know.
The Mandalorian is an expensive show, and it
yeah,
shows.
Because I remember people talked about this in the middle of the run of the X-Files. They did like a movie, and it was like it was really good, and it was much bigger and bolder than anything they could have done on the TV show. And that's what I'm curious about. Like, is this just going to be a really good long episode of the show? If so, okay. But I want something more. I'm hoping for something more.
I think it's going to be more. I think, as to your point with regards to the X-Files and, Ray's point with regards to budget, in the age of streaming and Disney Plus and Disney just having so much money from everything now, that line has been blurred.
Yeah.
My understanding is that this is the beginning of the end of the Mandalorian and Grogu. It's not like, we will see them in a couple of other things. But this is the condensed season 4 story. And I mean, it looks pretty damn awesome to me. Just them piling up the side of the AT-AT Walker. And you see it start to explode and then tumble down the snowy cliff. And it's going to have the comedy, and it's going to have Sigourney Weaver, who is obviously an acting god. It's just she's turning up she's like really, she's milking it as she should as a sci-fi icon, but she is turning up in so many of these movies and shows. I mean, she was in Paul.
I was about to mention that she like turned up in Paul, and she also turned up in that Cabin movie.
Yeah, I mean,
she plays one? I don't. Cabin in the Woods, I think it was called.
It is. So I think this time around she's not going to be playing this. It's like an authority figure who's gone rogue or whatever, which is good, because I mean, I'd love to see her have a meatier role in a sci-fi film than just Alien and of that franchise.
When you said she was in Paul, I was like, how many fingers? Do I leave that in or do I cut it? That's
why he's a little squirmy today.
Jeremy Allen White is in it also. He plays a Hutt, I believe.
Yes, he plays the grown-up version of the Hutt, who, if you remember the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, that's who he's playing.
That's who he's playing. He's playing that little baby Hutt grown up, or he's voicing him, I should say. Like, he's not.
Did they call him Stinky or something like that in the?
Yeah, he's got like a real name, but.
Wow, that's hilarious, and it brings the Filoni verse like full circle. That's kind of great, actually.
Yeah, and they showed him, and he looks like he's in a fight club at one point, like he's all buff and stuff, and so
A buff
I don't know.
hut. Whoa.
Buff
Yeah.
slug.
Yeah,
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, this is an automatic for me as well, even though, I thought there was a slight dip in the last season of The Mandalorian. I still enjoyed it. Andor has kind of changed Star Wars for me, for what I kind of want it to be. So that's also another possible issue, but also expanded the universe because there's a lot of people that are not necessarily traditional Star Wars fans that are now getting into Star Wars because of Andor.
You know what I think is interesting? That when Paul mentioned that the Skeleton Key crew are going to turn out, both you and I grimace. And the irony of us grimacing at the inclusion of a somewhat younger.
They're younger, yeah, they're kids.
Yeah, as a younger team in a universe that was created for kids. Is quite hysterical. I mean, I always hate seeing kids in movies.
But these kids suck. They weren't cool kids like in the Goonies. Like if the skeleton kids, I want them to die in the movie. Like that would make me happy.
Yeah, I just think it's ironic that we bitch about all these kids, but I mean at the end of the day, this universe is for was created for us at their age.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
right. We've stuck with it. And now it's like, we got to gatekeep it. We got to keep the children now. They're all fucking petri dishes of disease and they throw popcorn. They should fuck off back to Minecraft and Roblox and shit like that.
To be fair, I liked like all of the kids except one that I absolutely hated so much and I wanted her to die in every episode. But the other kids didn't, bother me. I like the little elephant boy. And
that shit bothers me. I don't want to see him on my screen. But then, again, I'm not the one who's, I'm 55 years of age. I'm God knows how long I have left on this planet, but I'm certainly not the one who's going to be carrying a franchise forward for the next 50 years and being a fan of it. And I just think it's funny that we've become, in effect, our parents.
Well, as the oldest of the group at 57, I would like to say that I recently rewatched Skeleton Crew, and I enjoy it very much, including the little elephant boy. He makes me laugh with his little comb over.
I like him. I hate Fern. She bugs the hell out
but
of
I don't
me.
think you're not supposed to like Fern.
But I don't think they want you to root for a character to die either. So.
Well, no, especially you're supposed to feel redeemed. She's supposed to be redeemed at the end. But yes, you're not supposed to root for a child to get killed. Although, I like it when movies kill the kid because sometimes the kid.
If the kid is a bad guy, like in sort of like The Omen, or that movie where they kidnap the kid, the little girl, and she's actually a vampire. That's when when kids are used as plot points to do something stupid and not listen, like stay in the car. Oh, I'm not going to stay in the car. I can help it. Oh shit, I've been captured. That sort of thing, much like the Spider-Man Brand New Day and the inclusion of Paul again. Paul is the new Karen. I mean, seriously.
Excuse me, but apparently Jessica is the new Karen.
Yeah, that's for ladies or people who identify as for she, hers. And you're in it that, like me. I think Paul is the new Kevin.
Coming on the CW, Paul is the new Karen. That would be a great one.
I don't think anybody wants to be coming on the CW.
Let us go into honorable mentions, movies that didn't make the cut, movies that you want to see that even though you don't think they're going to be very good, and any other random things. Well, let's start with a smaller one with a larger character. I loved Godzilla -1, so I'm super looking forward to Godzilla -0, even though I'm still trying to work out the math on how all this works. Paul, you're a big Godzilla fan.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about it except that it's like the same director. I'm not sure where it falls in terms of like, does it take place right after that? Does it like years after? Because we haven't seen anything, I don't think, except just the announcement that they're doing it. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with that one.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Marcus, are you looking forward to it at all?
I am. I really liked Godzilla -1. Yes, nobody knows who exactly came up with the numbering system on that, but yeah. I mean, the last one was incredibly good, and I will be there when it opens, and I will have my glasses polished so I can read the subtitles, and I will have a really good time. Certainly, it's the best Godzilla movies we've had over the last decade.
The other one that I think is on our list, I'm excited for it. I believe Paul is more apprehensive. And Marcus, I'm not sure how you feel about it, but give me your thoughts on Supergirl, please.
Supergirl, considering how Superman pleasantly surprised me, and it's one that I've enjoyed more based on multiple watchings.
Yeah.
I know this isn't a James Gunn joint in that he's not directing it, but it definitely feels Guardians-esque in the way it's shot, the aliens and everything. And I think that this one could be a really good one because Millie Alcock she's a fine Antipodean actress. I'm sure that there's going to be lots of shenanigans going on there. Crypto is back, which is great. So yeah, it's going to be the perfect palate cleanser, I think, for a lot of the films this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I hope it takes that Guardians more irreverent tone, and I get that feeling from the trailer simply because the dog pisses on Superman's picture on a piece of newspaper. Lobo,
Yes.
hello, fucking Lobo,
Aqua Lobo. I'm really looking forward to this one because I'm a big fan of the Tom King comics that they're borrowing a lot of the story from. So just based on the source material alone, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of Lobo as a comic book character. I think this is a much better role for Khal Drogo than Aquaman was for him.
He's born to play this role.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, I cannot imagine a better fit for this character than Khal Drogo, and I will call him that forever. But Paul, you are more apprehensive about this one. I know you're not as big of a James Gunn fan as we are. Is that why, or are there other reasons?
First of all, I'm going to always call him Mr. Momoa because he could easily beat me to death
with his like two fingers,
without even moving. I would just give up. I mean, yeah, I'm apprehensive in mostly because everything else that we've gotten from the Gunniverse or whatever, some of it's been okay, some of it's been good, none of it's been great. None of it has made me like, oh, I wish I'd seen this. I'm glad I saw this in theaters. So this one, I don't even know that I'm out, like, and especially given that this will be on HBO Max within 3 months, like, there's that question of like, maybe I should just wait. The trailer does look really cool. It does look really interesting. But then again, so did like all the other trailers. So I don't know. And I'm not the Lobo thing. Like, I'm not with you guys on that one. Like, I've always thought he was a dumb character. I do think Jason Momoa is a good person to play him, but he's just always like, to me, Lobo is really good in really short little amounts. Like when he's like a dominant character in a story, I'm always like, yeah, I don't know.
I agree with that part because I was a big fan of the Legion comics where he was introduced. And I liked that he was a antagonist to a larger team there, as opposed to his solo comics, which were kind of, I don't know, they were like a dumber version of a Garth Ennis story, if that makes any sense.
It does. Yeah.
So
but I don't know how much he's in this movie though. That's the, is he just like in it a little bit? Is he in it a lot? Like, I don't know. I'm also worried that like the whole like Supergirl's a drunk party girl is going to get tiresome after like an hour. Well, I don't think it's going to be that, but like I'm worried that it is.
her planet blew up, man. She ain't gonna give her some time to deal with it.
I don't think the drunk party girl aspect will last too long into the film, or if it does last for the first hour, I think the second half hour or whatever it's going to be, you will see, perhaps growing up. But yeah, she's been through a bunch of trauma.
Yeah,
and she's acting out. And I'm guessing therapy for godlike aliens with superpowers is a very, very limited niche career.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and apparently now there's going to be an entire TV show about the medical industry and how it relates to superheroes, and like how, I just psychiatric help in America is terrible for superheroes, and why aren't either of you guys stopping me on this rant? And
because you basically took it too far.
Yes.
Yeah, you jumped on my train, and you took it over the cliff. So I'm glad I quit when I did.
And then I pissed on a photo of Superman.
But
I get your reservations. If this turns out to be a one-trick pony, it'll be a huge disappointment and a huge setback for the Gunniverse.
Yeah, and I will say this: the day it appears on HBO, I will be DVRing it and watching it that night. But the question of whether I pay to see it in a theater is still very much up in the air.
So, Paul, I'm taking you did not read the comics, because
I did.
Oh,
I did, and I really liked it. But what they did in the comic, what they did in the movie is I honestly don't remember a lot of the book, because it was a while ago.
The way she deals with her trauma in there, it isn't like she's like, she's not like a sorority girl going around space.
Right. But what they do in the comics and what they do in a movie are two very different things.
And this one is interesting because Lobo wasn't in the comics, but he originally was going to be, but then they told Tom King not to use him. So now he kind of gets to.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Hey, before we get into our top picks, Paul, I wanted to check out that Tumblr you've been rocking.
You mean this?
Yes.
Which showed up at my house. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it says. I can't read.
Marcus, yours should be in your mailbox.
I think mine arrived yesterday.
Yes.
Again, I've been sleeping a lot. I mean, the back is in a really bad place right now. So I was, as I told you, I was in bed till 1 p.m. this afternoon, just sleeping.
Yeah.
Because
that's all good.
I'm now on bed rest for the next 2-3 weeks while the muscles relax a little. But I'm also drugged off my balls, so that's good. God bless muscle relaxers. But I do have a red T-shirt I was going to wear, and then I realized I put it in a pile of clothes somewhere to reorganize my drawers on it. It will be worn on the next one. It'll be worn on Wednesday.
It's all good. If you want to rock an RPadTV shirt or drink from an RPadTV tumbler, just go to Amazon.com, search for RPadTV, and you'll find a bunch of cool merch for you to enjoy.
So I have one last honorary mention, Project Hail Mary, which I find fascinating. I haven't read the book behind it, but it seems very, very cool. The fact that there's physical puppetry in there as well. And I mean, I'm always, hoping the Ryan Gosling reprises a version of I'm Just Ken, but a galactic version. But no, I think it's interesting that it's just an interesting looking movie. And considering we're going to get Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter next year. And did you read that Tom Cruise manned the camera for one of the lightsaber battles? He turned up on set and Sean Levy said to him, do you want to, jokingly, do you want to film this? And Tom Cruise then just gets into this muddy water with a big fucking camera. There's pictures of it. And he literally films the entire scene.
Huh. Good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I find Ryan Gosling absolutely charming. So I'm rooting for everything he does. I think the first thing I saw him in was that Denzel Washington American football movie. Remember the Titans? He was in that. I did not watch him in the Mickey Mouse Club like Paul did all those years. But yeah, he had me from Remember the Titans on. I loved him in Crazy Stupid Love.
Well, yeah, there's that. There's the gangster movie with, that's also really good. But the fact that we haven't had a movie sequel to The Nice Guys.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
That was one of his best performances. Him and Russell Crowe.
Well, let's see. Here's to hoping. So for my number one pick of 2026, which was actually on my list last year, but it got delayed and now it is slated for a June 2026 release. It is Power Ballad. This is a musical comedy by John Carney, who some of you might know from Once. I really hope. Once is one of my favorite movies ever. He did Sing Street. He did a lesser successful movie that he himself hated with Ruffalo and Keira Knightley. He was not a fan of that movie for various reasons.
That's where Ruffalo's the down on his luck agent.
Yes.
Knightley's a singer, busker, whatever the hell she is.
That's exactly that movie.
He has an oeuvre that he operates in, doesn't he?
Yes, but apparently he really disliked working with Keira Knightley, like a lot. He's said some not nice things about that woman in the press. But he's over it, so hope he's in a good place now. Power Ballad stars Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. Paul Rudd plays a wedding singer that's kind of struggling with his music. Nick Jonas plays a pop star looking for a resurgence. And from what I understand, it appears that Nick Jonas may or may not have nicked a song off of Paul Rudd, and that is the central conflict of the movie. I love Carney's movies. Once is on my top 10 list of all time. So I'm hoping this one does well. And, I like musicals in general. Paul does not. So
no. Now that I found out this guy has been talking shit about my girl Keira Knightley, that's all over. Fuck that guy.
Did you see the Christmas ad this year from the UK with Keira Knightley in it?
No.
You should Google Keira Knightley Christmas ad, and Paul, it will give you hope. It will give you so much hope.
Do tell. Don't reveal all, but please tease Paul a little more about this.
Well, no, it's just a in Britain, the Christmas ads for some of the stores like John Lewis and a couple of others, Asda, etc., they go full in. Some will be these really sentimental, heartstrings tugging ones. Some will be full of festive cheer of the family getting back together, and then there's this one that is just funny as fuck in that it's ridiculous and delicious. And I mean it's basically a rom-com inside 90 seconds. So I really recognize.
All right, I made a note to myself. I'm going to watch that after we're done.
The number one pick is going to be one of the most massive movies of all time. I just can't imagine this not doing billion-dollar business. You guys both picked this as your number one most anticipated movie. So let's have at it. Marcus, kick us off.
Well, this is obviously sprung from the Kang debacle,
yes,
as opposed to the Kang dynasty, Kang dysentery. It's the return of the Russos, who are batting a perfect score with regards to their Marvel movies. Ones outside of Marvel, not so much, quite interestingly. But yeah, I mean, between Winter Soldier and Civil War and the both Avengers movies, this one is going to be interesting for all sorts of things. I mean, not least the Downey Jr. is now Doc Doom. How they're going to tackle that conundrum, but it's also going to serve as a reboot for certain universes. The Fantastic Four will be brought into Earth 616. The X-Men are coming into 616. And it'll be interesting to see how they move forward, because we know there's a new X-Men coming with a new, younger, rebooted cast. Yet we are looking at Alan Cumming, we're looking at Kelsey Grammer, we're looking at Patrick Stewart, and both Sirs, Patrick and Sir Ian, who are going to be part of this. Cyclops is in the trailer. I mean, everybody, myself included, seems to think that he's basically collecting children with a connection to the power cosmic,
Right.
which is why we see him at the end of Fantastic Four, crouched talking to Franklin. And the end teaser for Thunderbolts shows the Fantastic Four ship coming into the 616 version of Earth, and that's going to be a very interesting premise. That's I think it's going to be very much Infinity Wars in a lot of ways. And sorry, I keep on getting light in my eyes.
No worries.
In that there will be a lot of people drawn into this from various universes chasing Doom, and they will probably get their asses handed to them in the end of the first movie. And then when we go to Secret Wars, which is the one I'm probably even more excited for, provided, because more and more I'm hearing it's Battle World.
Yeah.
And all those aspects of Battle World coming together just gives me tingles. I mean, Secret War in the 80s was just the best. Love that team up book. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, it's gonna be bigger than Avengers. It's gonna be than Infinity War. It's gonna be bigger than Endgame. And those were that story there across two movies, gold standard on how to put across a huge ensemble cast and tie all these stories together. So I'm super excited for it. It's obviously going to be day one, first showing, blah, blah, blah. If it's in IMAX, even better. And I trust the Russos simply because of their Marvel track record. The rest of the stuff they've done has not been glowing. But I think
they had me at Community forever, so they
well, I didn't watch Community. I'm talking about movie-wise.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They've had their fingers in many pies, and they just haven't really rocked, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is going to be great. It's going to be the end of the multiverse between this and the next movie, and then we're going to be looking at a fully because I think that's what's going to be. Battleworld is going to see the end of the multiverse, and everything's going to come together. Everybody on 616, and whether it's different versions from in time, whether it's the new X-Men, de-aged, or whatever. It's an exciting time, because let's face it, the multiverse saga has had more ups and downs than a Randy old man's pants. And so if they can sign off on a strong point, this is the team. I'm hearing that Nightcrawler and the X-Men battle of Fantastic Four in this one.
Yes. Alan Cumming spoiled it himself accidentally.
Alan Cumming did spoil it, but I mean, the most recent trailer that they dropped shows Namor and Ben Grimm, because obviously the Fantastic Four and the Submariner have always been traditional enemies. I think this Fantastic Four will play a huge part of this, because Doom is their traditional enemy, and so is the Submariner.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that are just so exciting, and looking at Dune Part 3, if they're smart, they will move to maybe Thanksgiving, because I think they're going to get, no matter how good that series is, they're going to get trampled.
Interesting. Paul, this is obviously going to be a massive thing, but why are you looking forward to it in particular?
I mean, okay, first of all, they're going to have to move Dune. I think they move it at least 2 weeks up, because they want to give it 2 weeks to have those theaters by themselves. Anyway, I agree with a lot of what Marcus said. That the Russo brothers, they know how to do Marvel movies, and they know how to do Marvel movies with just a gigantic cast, because it's not easy to do something like that. Not everybody can pull that off. I'm really excited for, as he alluded to, seeing some of these different characters interacting, like seeing Ben Grimm and and Shuri from Wakanda sort of interacting. I'm curious to see like how do they bring Steve Rogers back, and what happens when him and Peter Parker and some of the other original Avengers run into Doctor Doom and it looks like Tony Stark. Like there's just a lot of like intriguing questions coming out, some of which I don't think will be answered. I think some of them will wait until the second movie, but I'm still very, very excited for this one. And we haven't even really, I mean, like those sort of little trailers we've seen the last couple weeks, like they're kind of nothing burgers, but like it's still kind of like, okay.
I disagree. I mean, I think it hints at what Marcus was saying about Doom collecting the children, because was Cap first or Thor first? Cap. I think it was Cap. They show him having a son. They show him having a son. They show Thor with his daughter. So right. I think, I wouldn't say they're nothing. I think it kind of hints at what Doom might be up to. Although I don't understand why he would go after T'Challa Jr. because he doesn't have powers as far as I know.
Well, it depends if he was conceived when T'Challa had the powers. Interesting to see how that, if and how, how that passes on. And then the Rachel Summers angle you mentioned earlier, right. In that he could be pulling these characters of various ages, but I mean, Omega level mutants. Maybe Namor actually has a child that we don't know about.
Oh,
yeah. But I think the fact is they combated the initial spoilers. It's like, oh, look at the size of Chris Evans. He must be doing Avengers. No, I'm not. And then we get
right.
The trailer. So that's basically 86, the scuttlebutt there. We know he's coming back. Thor. This version of Thor is, I think they did this to show that an active step away from Taika Waititi's Thor.
Yeah.
Which got just stupid silly. The X-Men one was obviously, we see 3 other characters, but to see the X-Men house on Greymalkin Lane in rubble, and to see what is obviously Sentinel legs behind Cyclops as he rips that visor off. And poor Cyclops, he's been one of the shoddiest treated X-Men characters across the board, because obviously Wolverine became super awesome, and Hugh Jackman was magnetic and XYZ, but Cyclops, I mean, he's the milquetoast of the group, and they did him so dirty in X3.
Yep.
Just to see James Marsden there rip that visor off and get those eye blasts going is
in that uniform too.
Yeah. And it's that callback to, what would you prefer? Yellow spandex.
Right.
From the first movie. And then, the fact that we see, I thought was interesting, is we will see the Atlanteans all standing in a row. I think they were Atlantean soldiers. I don't think they were Doombots, but I think they were Atlantean soldiers standing on a row, in a desert. Has Doom done something to drain the oceans?
Yeah. So that apparently that is Wakanda, and something happened to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and because it is Atlanteans and Wakandans that meet the Fantastic Four. I believe that M'Baku and Ben Grimm have a scene together where King M'Baku introduces himself with his royal titles and all that, and Ben's like, Ben Grimm from Yancey Street.
Yeah,
I think there's actually going to be, like, we know a lot of the people that are in this movie. I think there's going to be a couple surprise
for sure
people, and I also think that there's going to be a bunch of more people in the second movie. Like, I won't be the least bit surprised if Deadpool shows up at some point. We haven't heard anything about Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel being involved, and I think they're definitely going to want to have Ms. Marvel because she was the highlight of the Marvels, and people really excited for her. I think at some point Miles Morales turns up. Ooh. I think they're gonna they're gonna definitely do stuff like that, like introduce new characters that will carry forward. There's a story going around that the Wesley Snipes blade might be turning up in the movie.
That works for me, 'cause, I
Which
mean,
makes me wonder if Daphne Keene's X-23 is going to turn up. Is Jennifer Garner's Elektra going to turn up? You know, where's Daredevil in all of it?
Gambit's in it,
right?
For sure.
Gambit is in it. Like, so you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you know those Blade and Daphne Keene's character and Elektra like all survived as well. Well, we know Daphne Keene's character because she turns up at the end of the Deadpool movie. I don't think have they said that Hugh Jackman is in this movie yet.
They have not.
They have not, but I think if he's not in this movie, he'll be in
right.
Secret Wars.
Yeah. So there's a lot, but I do But I do think there's going to be a lot that really there's going to be a lot of those surprises, and like I said, I think Miles Morales is one of them. Is like I have a feeling, even if it is just at the very, very end of that last movie, that they're going to introduce some new characters as well.
There's actually been a video doing the rounds of Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things, doing a lot of jumpy, flippy kind of things, and people are saying that this is he's prepping for Miles Morales. Now, I know Miles is obviously biracial in that he's I believe he's Puerto Rican and African American, but I could see him playing Miles Morales very easily. He's got this troubled sort of breezy style. I don't think Stranger Things utilized him as well as it did a lot of the other characters. It would be interesting to see him and Sadie Sink in another movie together, because they obviously have a great friendship off screen and they have chemistry on it. So yeah, I'd love to see Miles, and it would be a huge debut. I mean, the thing with Secret Wars is that all bets are off. Yeah. I mean, you can pull people in from anywhere, and as long as you don't do it like they did on The Flash, where we had all those god awful CGI. But yeah, there's so much on this, and we will have a reset at the end of Secret Wars and Battle World, because stuff will be pulled in, and it will be dimensional pull-ins as opposed to just, here's a bit of Pittsburgh from 616, and here's a bit of Planet Willow from 616. They will pull stuff across, and we'll see all sorts of characters. And I mean, obviously, you're both familiar with the Secret Wars book.
Of course. Yeah.
We know that the X-Men peel off quite quickly from the good guys, and that we have 3 separate camps of Doom, X-Men, and the other heroes. So if that's following through, that explains a lot of the stuff that's been leaked.
I'm looking forward to the movie, not as much for the movie itself, but the implications and what it sets up. I think the Russos, their sitcom background helps in terms of making things episodic. So I think they're better at that than some of the other Marvel directors are. But this seems more of like an MCU mainstream thing, not like the weirdo comic book stuff that I usually like. So, I like my weirdo stories like, a Thunderbolts or something like that, where the characters are minor and messed up and damaged.
Well, we know they're going to be in it.
Yeah.
The fact that Yelena is going to be in it is great.
So someone theorized that the Thunderbolts are going to all die except for Sentry in the Doomsday movie, which could be interesting. I mean, I could see it.
Bucky might be dying because Bucky's just been apparently is about to be
Two-Face. No, yeah.
But Yelena, they won't kill Yelena because she has been the breakout character.
She has, but is she getting expensive?
Yeah.
David Harbour is old, so you can kill him off.
And he has, he's not somebody who is, he's not somebody you can build a franchise around. Yelena is.
Right. Who else is there? Hannah Jean, what's her face, who plays Ghost?
Cayman.
Cayman, so you
Anna
control
John
her
Cayman.
off.
Yeah. And then the Captain America knockoff.
Oh yeah,
Now, you see,
Wyatt Russell.
that could be a whole new pointing meme where you've got Sam Wilson, you've got Steve Rogers, and you've got the other guy as well. And, you know,
No, what I want to see is, because Marvel now owns the rights to Godzilla and does Godzilla comics. I want Godzilla to show up and eat that guy, and then
do they have movie rights though, or is that still?
I don't know. I don't think they don't have the movie rights, but it would just be funny because Godzilla. There was just a comic book called like The Avengers Fight Godzilla.
Right.
I think that's brilliant. And then there's, if we're out on the wild stuff, I would love, because Disney had this tie-in with the BBC for Doctor Who, and that's had ended, and there's no new Doctor Who until Christmas special. But wouldn't it be, for me, it would be super cool if all of a sudden you come into the end of Doomsday and it's on your left, and the TARDIS lands, the doors open, and out comes every fucking hero from every dimension that the Doctor's collected.
That would be fantastic. Question for you guys. One of the moments that people are really anticipating is Peter seeing Tony's face in Doctor Doom. Do you think it happens in this movie, even though Peter hasn't been announced for it, or do you think it happens in Secret Wars?
I kind of think if it happens in Doomsday, it happens at the very end. It could very easily go to the second movie. I don't know. It's hard to say without knowing how he fits into everything. Because the thing is, like, you can sit there and say, like, well, in the comic books, this happened, but as we've seen in the Marvel movies, they don't necessarily follow what happens in the, like, when they follow a comic, they follow like a very sort of loose version of it, but they're not, afraid to change things. So I don't know. I mean, what I think is going to happen at the end of both of these movies is you're going to have a new version of the Avengers, and Yelena will be the Black Widow. And
will they have a Z at the end or not?
No. But I think that's like where they're going to go with this, is they're going to have the Avengers over here, and they're going to have the Young Avengers, and then they're going to have the X-Men over here, and the Fantastic Four will be over here, and then they can go on their own adventures. But I don't know. I mean, it'll be a really interesting scene when those two face off. I think that like Spider-Man will run into Doctor Doom earlier than that. Like, I don't think that's the first time those two characters cross paths in these movies, but I think they're going to hold off on that reveal for a while.
Marcus,
at least to the characters in the film. They may show us the audience that's what
right. But I mean, that scene can be such a powerful thing. It could be such a big moment that I don't know. I kind of think you should do it in the first, just to have that moment and have people talking about it. Marcus, how would you play it out? What would you want from it?
I mean, if this version of Doom is all powerful, and there's still a lot of up in the air of, is it Victor Von Doom? Is it Tony Stark? Was Tony Stark adopted by the Starks back in the day because they actually lost their first child, and Victor Von Doom was the one they adopted? There's so many variables in there, but personally, if Doom is this powerful and he can travel across dimensions, he would hopefully be aware of the relationship between Stark and Peter Parker. And he would utilize that to his benefit, in that he would act like Tony Stark, and he would, turn Spider-Man against everybody else until there's the soul-crushing reveal that he is actually the bad guy. He would, because I did see a couple of on-set pics that kind of irritated me that I saw them, because I certainly didn't want to. But you could actually say, you could see that. I mean, I could just imagine Tom Holland's face as he crumples, and as he's perhaps kicked somebody's ass, done something to bring something to the Doom, And there's that reveal towards the end of the movie, but they've been together for like half a movie. Can you just imagine his mentor?
Yeah.
You know, his Uncle Ben, if you think about it, because obviously we didn't see Uncle Ben in the previous 3 movies. You just see his face crumple after losing his girlfriend and nobody else knowing what he's done, and just that emotional wreck that could then lead into Venom Spider-Man.
Yeah, I absolutely want to see that. And I think Holland could act the hell out of that scene.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to that so much.
And it's not going to happen, and obviously everybody will be disappointed. But anybody at Sony or the Russos want to have a talk with me about this stuff, I am available.
Excellent. And that will put a bow on our most anticipated movies of 2026. Hope you come back next episode where Marcus Mack and I will be doing this same treatment for our most anticipated TV shows. Check out RPadTV merch on Amazon.com. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go to paulsemel.com for excellent stories. And I'll see you next time on RPadTV.